Ladies and gentlemen here in attendance, we will begin shortly. Right now, I have to kindly ask you to follow the safety guidelines while being here at the event. There are hand sanitizers at the entrance and at the coffee tables. Although it is not obligatory to wear masks at your tables, please use them in the non-formal part of the event while having conversations. You are seated at specific tables, at specific numbers. Please write down your name and all other things that are asked of you on the small leaflet, and please do not switch your seats. This is a safety measure that we should all follow, and while moving around in the room, if you can, please follow the distance guidelines. And when saying hello in the non-formal part, it is okay here in Latvia to just slightly nod your head, or if you want to touch, give the good old fist bump, okay? That's for the end of the event, and we will start in 3 minutes, so see you back soon. Your Excellency, the distinguished ambassador of Norway to Latvia, ladies and gentlemen here in attendance, dear online guests watching us on Facebook and YouTube, my name is Artis Ozoliņš, and welcome to the opening ceremony to the Norway Grants Program Business Development, Innovation and Small and Medium Enterprises. We're especially glad to see here all the small and medium entrepreneurs, business developers, innovators whose aim is to increase the value creation and sustainable growth here in Latvia. Today, high-level authorities and experts will help you understand how you can develop new technologies to spur creation and new and green products and services that will help with the help of the Norway Grants Program. We will start today here with a few opening speeches. Afterwards, you will find out more about the partnerships within the Norway Grants Program and get an overview of the program. And to help me open the event right here today, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause either at home or here at the event, connecting to us online, the Director of the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, Mr. Kaspars Rožkalns.
Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, distinguished guests, I'm truly honored to be here and speak from self-isolation. And this is something that probably is the new normal for all of us. First of all, I would like to explain a big thanks to our counterpart of LIA in Norway, so Innovation Norway. Obviously, the Norwegian Embassy to Latvia and all other Norwegian colleagues who supported us to launch this program, to go ahead of the curve, and despite of the COVID-19, during the pandemic, to still keep working and keep pushing, and we are, because of them, here today. The biggest thanks, actually, I wanted to tell also my colleagues in LIA who are there, present in the audience for hard work, for a lot of hours putting and man hours, how to describe the sustainability and the focus of the program that will provide the innovation and creation and creativity to the entrepreneurs of Latvia. Tonight in my opening speech, I actually wanted to focus on two things. First thing, why LIA and why the Norwegian Grant Program is important to us. So the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, we take care of our exporters and we attract investors. And exactly because both of them are our clients, we have to support them by different grant programs, by different incentive programs. And we see this Norwegian program as one of the very important program, because when we look at our the government's COVID-19 exit strategy, we see that the most important part when we compared our economies, the Latvian economy, who is export-oriented, and the German economy, who is also export-oriented, we understand that there is a difference, and why there's a difference, and mostly because of the added value that we export. Therefore, we have to increase, quadruple actually, the added value, and to do it, it's the best time is through the crisis. Because when a crisis happens, you, as an entrepreneur, you have a time to evaluate what is the new normal, evaluate what was the old business model, look around what is happening in the world, and maybe do some tweaks and some changes. And this Norwegian grant program actually is really great, especially because it's focusing on the green innovation, ICT, grants in welfare technologies. And this is exactly what our economy needs to transform, to create the products of the future, to create the products with the more added value, with the higher price in export markets, with more competitive edge, and we see the green deal is the deal of the future. So currently we do not see clear one policy of the, let's say, taxation of CO2 emissions or any other green taxes. However, we understand that this is coming, and if we do our homework now, if we transform the companies, if we transform the businesses, so to become more greener, we know when the Green Deal comes and it's mandatory, we'll be again ahead of this curve. The Norwegian grant, totally this 14.7 million euros is, as already mentioned, dedicated some part to the green innovation, ICT, to this welfare product development. But last and definitely not least is this technology business center, where we see this as one of the key opportunities where the scientists can make businesses and create this joint cooperation between them, with the knowledge transfer from one side to another, and obviously with the rapid prototyping. That is something that is missing currently, and TBC will be a solution for that. If we look what we transform in LIA, from the January when I started as director, one of the major slogans is KPIs. So it means that performance indicators that can be measured and followed up. And again, in this Norwegian grant program, as a KPIs, and just some, we have more, but for the some KPIs, we have the 70 SMEs will go through the TBC and will create at least 30 prototypes. 24 companies will create the new products and new technologies through the grant program. And we see that even if the 14.7 million euros doesn't seem maybe the hugest grant program ever that we administrated, we see this is a very important, very focused, very targeted, where we will be able to create new companies, and they will be sustainable as KPIs, that they continue to work at least for 3 years. And this will create new jobs and new taxes, and will show a light for the other companies when you invest smart in the technology to adapt your product, and this is creating for the company the competitive advantage in the export markets. So I'm really happy for today, and thank you everybody very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roskans, and now it is my honor to introduce you to His Excellency, the Distinguished Ambassador of Norway to Latvia, Mr. Christian Odegaard.
Good afternoon, everybody, dear friends of LIA, dear audience. As Norway's ambassador here in Riga, it's my great pleasure to participate at this event here this afternoon, launching the Norway Grants Program on business innovation and small and medium-sized enterprises. I do hope and believe that this program will have a positive impact in Latvia and also on the cooperation between our two countries. As official representative of a neighboring country, it's always satisfactory to ask, what can we do for you? How can we contribute? How can Norway be of help to Latvia's endeavors? How can we build our relations? What is our footprint? There are many and diverse answers to these questions, but we do our best. Norwegians had active relations with Latvia since very far back. In the Middle Age, when Bergen and Riga both were members of the Hanseatic League of trading cities. And we built strong trading links already at that time between the Baltics and Norway, and especially with Riga. Today, our economic relations between Latvia and Norway are still very strong. And not only trade relations, we could say that the two main pillars in our relations are the economic activity of companies and the EA Norway grants. And the third one maybe being the Norway's contribution to security in the Baltic region. We are not a member of the European Union, but through the European Economic Area Agreement and the EA Norway grants and Norway grants program, we are part of the same internal market. For the period 2014 to 2021, that is the formal period of the EA Norway grants that we are in now. Norway, together with Liechtenstein, is providing a total of 2.8 billion euros to the 15 newest EU member countries. Latvia is part of that, and the total contribution to Latvia in this period, in practical terms, that is from now up to 2024, is 102 million euros. Altogether, we had, since Latvia became member of the European Union, a total contribution from Norwegian taxpayers of about 220 million euros to Latvia. In the funding period now, we have 9 different EA Norway grants program, and the program we are launching here today is tailored specifically for business development, innovations, and competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprises in Latvia. But there are many other programs that are also relevant for businesses and enterprises. We have programs dealing with economic crime investigation, preventing economic crime, support for establishment of whistleblowing systems. We have support to innovation and science centers in 4 cities here: Cesis, Ventspils, Liepāja, and Daugavpils. There are programs on research, cooperation, on education, social dialogue, regional development, and climate change issues. I think all those are relevant for business and enterprises, economic life in Latvia. As I said, we had this EA Norway grants here since 2004 when Latvia joined the European Economic Area. And Norwegian businesses in Latvia, in modern times, started already in the beginning of the 1990s when Latvia regained independence. Since then, Latvia has been an attractive place for Norwegian enterprises. Since the beginning of the 1990s, Norway has been among the top sources of foreign investment in Latvia. And I think the Norwegian enterprises' presence in Latvia has been characterized by a long-term approach, building, investing in manufacturing capacity and also in real estate. That is, by nature, long-term. According to Lursoft, we have today we have more than 250 Norwegian companies established in Latvia. And we are still on the top 10 list of foreign investors in Latvia. New companies keep coming. The last or the most recent one is the airline Norwegian Air. They plan to set up an office in Riga, and they will offer many new jobs here. Norwegian companies in Latvia employ more than 6,000 people already, and generate economic activity in many of Latvia's regions. They contribute with jobs, with tax income, and thus welfare in many corners here. As an example, Norwegian companies are the largest investors in Sigulda and Saldos, where we have a maritime cluster of companies in the middle of Latvia. That's quite special. In the framework of EEA and Norway grants, we contribute with knowledge transfer in many fields, such as green innovations, incubator development, regional development, social and human development, social dialogue, as already mentioned, and they are all highly relevant for the business environment and business cooperation. At the embassy, we are ourselves active participants in working with business climate and business actors here. We are here to cooperate and to build good bilateral relations between our two countries. We hope that the Norway Grants business program will be a success and a real contribution to growth, to welfare, and economic and social development in Latvia. Thank you, and all the best with the program.
And lastly, to sum it all up, also representing the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, he is the head of Norwegian Financial Mechanism Department, Mr. Jānis Ločmelis.
Dear sirs, madams, colleagues, I have a pleasure to greet you all at the program opening event. And first of all, I would like to thank our donor program partner, Innovation Norway, of course, also our ministry's national focal point for good collaboration that we had during last years. And I remember our kickoff meeting that we had almost 2 years ago when we just started to design our program and thought what could be the best modality of this program to target funding gaps in Latvia and achieve the best results with available funding. And standing right here after 2 years, I'm quite sure that we have designed a quite interesting program. And why this program is interesting? So first of all, it's targeting different groups of entrepreneurs, starting from entrepreneurs who have only some business idea and maybe don't have courage or skills to develop this idea. And that's why we have envisaged a predefined project, Tech Business Center, that will help them. Next group of entrepreneurs are startups and tech-intensive SMEs that would like to develop some kind of prototype of products or technologies and I guess that for them will be interesting our small grant schemes. And third group of entrepreneurs are companies that would like to establish or modernize existing production premises to purchase necessary equipment for introduction into production new products. And I would like to stress out that this will be the only program next year where will be eligible purchase of equipment, and that's why we hope on big interest from entrepreneurs. But of course, the main aspect of this program is bilateral cooperation. This program allows to implement projects in partnership. Partners can be any public or private entities established here in Latvia or in Norway as legal persons. And that's why we encourage you to look for these Norwegian partners and receive extra points during project selection and verification process. And I would like to conclude my speech, but at the same time open this program by stressing out narrative of Norway grants. And this narrative is that we are working together for a green, competitive, and inclusive Europe. Thank you. Please, video.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Norway Grants Program, Business Development, Innovation and Small and Medium Enterprises is open. Congratulations, and to honor this occasion, please welcome back on the stage the distinguished ambassador of Norway to Latvia, Mr. Christian Odegaard, and Jānis Ločmelis. Please welcome. Thank you, gentlemen. A round of applause. October, 15th, Riga, Latvia. The Norway Grants Program is open and running. So I think it is time to unfold our sleeves and get to work. But probably you have a few questions on how the program can help you and what it offers. So we will try to answer all of your questions right here, right now. And firstly, to give you an insight into the role of partnerships within the Norway Grants Program, please welcome through Zoom the Director of EEA Norway Grants of Innovation Norway Program, Director Magnar Odelian. Welcome.
Thank you very much. As already mentioned, I'm representing Innovation Norway, the so-called program partner to LIA. This means that we have, as Jānis already mentioned, worked together now for almost 2 years to develop this program. We have had a very open and constructive cooperation between Innovation Norway and LIA, and as already mentioned, we believe that the result is good, that it will offer opportunities for many Latvian companies, and also in cooperation with the Norwegian partners. So the main objectives of my brief intervention today is to talk a little about the role of partnerships within Norway Grants. And hopefully I will be able to convince you that cooperation is a good thing, and that cooperation with Norwegians is an even better thing. That is the objective of my intervention. But I assume that many of you don't know much about Innovation Norway. So I will start by giving some brief information about Innovation Norway. You can see the logo. Innovation Norway is a kind of a mix of a regional development agency and a trade council. It means that we have activities supporting companies in all areas of Norway, but we also help Norwegian companies to go abroad. So actually, we could develop or could divide our services into three areas. We support startups. We have different schemes for that. We support more the growth phase of companies by having schemes related to innovation and development. And we support Norwegian companies going abroad. But the main or the core of the business of Innovation Norway is actually financing of companies. So we are kind of a bank. We finance a large number of companies, and at the annual basis we process about 8,000 to 10,000 applications from Norwegian companies. So it's quite a big number of companies that have then or are in contact with Innovation Norway every year. I said that we support companies all over the country. So you can see here the map of Norway, and then the dots you can see that will be then the Innovation Norway offices in Norway. So you can see we cover the whole the country, but we are also then have a strong international presence because, as I said, we support Norwegian companies going abroad. You can see that it's focused quite a lot in Europe, of course. Europe is the most important export market for Norwegian companies. The ambassador already mentioned the EEA agreement, and that's, of course, a very, very important framework for the export to Europe. But we also have, as you can see, a presence in the US and in Asia and so on. So we are present many places internationally. We also have offices that deal with the EEA and Norway grants, because we are not only the program partner as in Latvia. Innovation Norway is also the program operator of some programs within Norway grants, EEA grants. We operate business programs in Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, and Croatia. So we have many of the same experiences that LIA. So that's also why I think that we have a good cooperation, because we know the challenges related to operating such funds. So we will be able to discuss on equal terms. So why to cooperate with the Norwegian businesses? Well, I'll present you some kind of self-declaration that how we see it from the Norwegian side. But of course, it could be a different view if you see it from Latvian side or from another country. But this is how we see the advantages and why you should cooperate with Norwegian businesses. Of course, we have several areas where we have strong presence. We have strong companies within some areas. They are listed, and you are probably not very surprised about this list. Of course, clean energy is important. We have a lot of hydropower and so on, and also a lot of activities related to other renewable energy sources. The blue economy, ocean industries, is of course strong in Norway. We have a lot of focus on smart cities and ICT solutions, mainly related to smart cities. The bioeconomy is also strong in Norway, as in Latvia. So that is, of course, also a platform for good cooperation between companies. We have focus on creative industries and also on health. And as already mentioned, the health area, welfare technology, is also a part of this program. So we have the Norwegian strengths. I think they match quite good with the focus areas of the Norway Grants program. So that is a good starting point for cooperation. We also like to believe that, of course, that Norway is a well-functioning democracy and high standards of living, and that also helps for cooperation between companies, actually. We like to believe that Norwegians are trustworthy, so that it is something that you should be able to trust Norwegians during the cooperation. Of course, I will recommend you to get to know them and go into the details. But as a starting point, we like to believe that Norwegians are quite trustworthy. We have a lot of expertise, and we also have a flat structure. Some people dealing with Norwegians, they are a little bit surprised maybe about the flat structures. The culture maybe in Latvia is not that different from Norway. You have this kind of Northern Europe culture, but be aware that the structures in Norway, they are really, really flat. We have within certain areas world-class technology that Latvian companies could benefit from in the projects. And we like to believe that we have some credibility when it comes to sustainability. And sustainability is also a key word for the Norway grant program. As already mentioned, we have the green industry innovation area, but also for projects within the other areas, sustainability will be a key aspect. Okay, then a little bit about the business culture in Norway and how to find a partner. Yeah, of course, for a business partner, the foundation of a relationship is trust. You need to trust your partner. And it will take time, of course, to build the trust. So you will have to be willing to invest some time to get to know your partner. You will have to make sure that you have a common goal, that you within the project, for instance, that you know what the objective of the project is and what the different roles could contribute with. What would be the contribution of a Norwegian partner? And then it needs to be a mutual benefits. You need to find a way of cooperation that will bring benefits for both partners in the project, because otherwise it's not worthwhile to look for a partner or find a partner if you can't benefit. And it is important then during the process, for instance, of preparing an application, to make sure that you have clear roles and responsibilities within a project. That means both then the activities to be performed, but also then concerning budgets and more nitty-gritty technical details. That is important. The decision-making in Norwegian organizations, it's always good to know a little bit about that when you start discussing with a Norwegian partner. Again, you will probably meet a flat structure. So it means that the person you are discussing with could sometimes be then not at the top of the hierarchy in the organization. But still, that is not that important, because this could be the person that is really doing the work, and that is important. So don't be scared if then the top manager of the Norwegian company or organization is not involved in the discussion, because it could still be a legitimate and valid discussion, and you'll get something valid out of this. And of course, it's kind of consensus approach in Norway, and sometimes someone will say that the decision making then could be a little bit unclear, but be just clear about that. You need to put things on paper and describe then the roles of the different partners in a project in a good way, and then I think you will be fine. Yeah, and I think you also should be aware that since the Norwegian culture is kind of trust based, they sometimes don't fully understand the culture of often the companies they are working with abroad. So they tend then to be a little bit impatient when it comes to bureaucratic requirements and things like that. So that makes it then also important then to get them to understand that, okay, this is the rules of the game, and you will have to do this and that to be able to, for instance, to put forward an application within such a program. Because they tend to, as I said, to be a little bit impatient about bureaucratic details, and then they will say, oh, we don't understand why you need this document and this signature and this stamp or something like that. So be open and direct in your communication with Norwegian potential partners. Yeah, as I said, it takes time to establish a relationship, and that means that it's important to look at the tools we have available for facilitating partners. So how to find a partner? Back in the old days, you went around and got a lot of business cards, and you very soon forgot everything about them. So not always that useful to get one. We have also used a lot of matchmaking events, but the last 6 months have of course forced us to think differently, because it's now not possible to have physical matchmaking events. And the event today is a good example that at least some of us, we will just have to follow this online, because the situation is as it is. So then the first advice to make them use of online matchmaking possibilities. We have tried during the six last months to replace then physical events with the online matchmakings. We will still continue to develop that, and we will of course then have to discuss with the LIA also how we will do the matchmaking related to this program, because it would be useful to have different matchmaking to try to then facilitate the cooperation between Latvian and Norwegian entities. But at least for the near future, I think we have to just accept that will mostly take place online. So we will continue the discussion with LIA how to do that. If you are looking for a Norwegian partner, it is possible to use the partner search database established by Innovation Norway. You will see then the web address there. There you can look for a partner, but it's also possible there to register a profile to just briefly explain what would be the project idea and what kind of contribution from a Norwegian partner you would be looking for. So that is one possibility. Still, if you then don't have a partner, we have the Explorer, the kind of official marketplace in Norway for green technology. That is a tool that the Innovation Norway has spent a lot of resources developing. If you go to the Explorer, it's possible for search for solutions, and then you will hopefully get some at least be able to identify some possible partners. And the good thing with the Explorer is that all profiles, they are vetted. So you should be able to trust that the companies you find at Explorer, they are serious and they are willing, able, and ready to be involved in international cooperation. So that is a tool to use. It has now existed for a couple of years. It was launched by the Norwegian Prime Minister, Erna Solberg, and she labeled it Tinder for businesses. But hopefully the profiles are better vetted than the usual Tinder. So Explorer is always a possibility to use if you're looking for partners. I've just to show you, I just made yesterday a search for some green solutions, and then you will get up then a lot of companies, and then it's possible to go further in and look in more details about what each companies can offer. And if you find them interesting, you will actually have to register, but that is for free, to Explorer to get them the contact details to the actual companies. But Explorer is a possible tool to use in addition to this database I already mentioned. But again, we will have to discuss now with Leah what kind of matchmaking activities we will have during the next months. So we hopefully can get as many good partnerships between Latvian and Norwegian entities as possible. So that was my brief intervention today. So thank you and good luck with possible applications, and good luck to Leah with the operation of the program, and we will of course continue to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Delian. I hope some of the questions you had were answered during this presentation. So now, ladies and gentlemen, watching online and right here, please turn your attention to the screen, because we have received a message from one of the program's previous participants, an experience story about the benefits and the gains from the program. Here is Vizulo.
So my name is Jānis Zeltiņš. I'm CEO of Vizulo. Vizulo produces street luminaires, floodlights, industrial and indoor luminaires. Vizulo stands for beautiful design, for high technical parameters, and for excellent quality. In our company are working 120 people, and we are exporting to more than 30 countries. We decided to participate in Norwegian grants because we wanted to make next serious step in company's development. We wanted to become a more serious player in lighting industry. We had a wish list from production machines which were urgently needed, and with Norway grants we managed to implement these machines. This year, in 2020, we will have 14 million turnover and more than 80% in exports. Do you want to fly as fast as rocket? Do you want to create, produce and export? If all yes is, hurry to apply to Norwegian grants.
Thank you for the video from Vizulo. So to round it all up and give you an overview of the program Business Development, Innovation and Small and Medium Enterprises, please welcome on the stage the head of Project Implementation Division, Norwegian Financial Mechanism Department of the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, Ms. Natālija Siliņa.
Ambassador, Deputy Director, partners, entrepreneurs, business innovators, developers, welcome. I also welcome all those online viewers. Thank you for joining us. It's actually, personally for me, it's a really happy moment that program has been launched finally, and that now we move from the preparation stage into the implementation stage. I also would like to thank Magnar for the outstanding presentation about the partnership and the importance of the partnerships. We will emphasize, we'll continue to emphasize the importance, and we will explain our project promoters the importance and how is it important to work together with Norway and to attract partners for the projects. Okay, about the program. If you were listening carefully, my colleagues already have said everything. So basically, the Norway grant's title is Business Development, Innovations, and Small and Medium Enterprises. The program will be operating until the April of 2024. Available funding is 14.7 million euros, including Norwegian support for an amount of 12.5 million euros and Latvian state co-financing part. My colleague Jānis already mentioned the importance of bilateral fund, and also the ambassador mentioned this. A bilateral fund also will be available, and it aims to promote and strengthen cooperation between Latvian enterprises and Norwegian entities. We will be organizing bilateral activities in order to find project partners to help the project promoters to find partners in Norway. So within the program, we hear this term green innovation. What does it really mean? And in other words, green innovation is that the company is aware of producing a new product or improving manufacturing processes that leaves positive impact on environment. Thus aiming to reduce carbon dioxide emission as well as decreasing energy consumptions. As I already mentioned, the program has been formed to support small and medium enterprises, and main areas of support are green innovation industry, information and communication technologies, and welfare technologies. The program itself consists of several activities. The first activity is introducing a new product into production. The available funding for this activity is almost 8.5 million euros. Supporting areas, green innovation industry, and information and communication technology. This is an investment opportunity to those companies that are planning to expand manufacturing by purchasing a new equipment or exchanging an old one and applying a new product or even more, several products into production. December 2020 is time when we are planning to announce the call for proposals, and project promoters will be able to submit their projects and their ideas. Available funding to the open call is from 200,000 to 600,000 euros, with intensity 45% to a medium company and 55% to a small company. This activity also supports research and development part for a new product development or technology application that results with launching a new product into production. It is recommended to attract a project partner, as in all other activities. The next activity is small grant scheme. And this activity is aiming to develop a new product or technology. Same supporting areas, green innovation industry and ICT. 1.7 million euros are available for innovative ideas that promote new products or technologies. The call for proposals is planned to be announced on March 2021. Funding is available from 10,000 euros to 130,000 euros, with aid intensity up to 70%. The product or technology can be developed in-house or outsourced, and the project result is a product or a new technology prototype. So what we want to see is a prototype. Last but not the least activity is also a grant for welfare technologies. And welfare technologies imply technologies and products that positively will impact health industry, provide social care or e-healthcare services or public safety, as well as develop such products or technologies for people with disabilities. In other words, those are innovations that could support safety, security, daily activities, social contact, physical activity, or mobility. Same terms as for previous grant funding, from 10,000 euros to 130,000 euros with aid intensity up to 70%. And the call for proposals is planned to be announced on June 2021. Outcome is also the prototype. And the last activity is the predefined project, Tech Business Center, that will be implemented also by LIA in partnership with 3 leading universities: Riga Technical University, University of Latvia, and Riga Stradiņš University. Funding is granted 2 million euros, and the main idea of the TBC is to accelerate new ideas, new business ideas into prototypes, aiming to support and grow entrepreneurial skills, knowledge, and thinking in Latvian enterprises. And this is what I would like to stress out, that there will be a great possibility to attend an exclusive training program provided by Riga Business School, and as well as many other activities like mentoring, consultations, prototyping, seminars, networking, hackathons. So this is actually a platform where a new business ideas will be born, developed, and launched into the market. So I missed a slide. Sorry for that. And the last slide. This is actually all that I wanted to briefly tell you about the program. Prior to each call of proposals, we will be organizing intro seminars. Those seminars will provide more detailed information on each activity by explaining eligibility of costs, sub-activities, project application submission terms, evaluation criteria, and processes, etc., and etc. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Selina, for the wonderful presentation on all the details. We've heard about the importance of the program. We've heard about the partnerships. We've heard about the details. So now I have to thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador of Norway to Latvia, Mr. Odegaard, Mr. Roškalns, Mr. Ločmelis, Mr. Odilian, Ms. Selina, for the wonderful speeches and presentations. We've done it. The Norway Grants Program, Business Development, Innovation, and Small and Medium Enterprises is open and available. If you have any more questions, please attend to LIA's website, lia.gov.lv, and search for the Norway Financial Instruments under the Programs section. Thank you, everybody in attendance. Thank you, everybody watching us online. My name is Artis Ozoliņš, and I wish you a splendid evening. Well, the online part is over now, but here we continue. There are 2 beautiful lady